Hey guys, Woke here. Now, I've been doing a lot of research lately on Tartaria and the resets, and I always keep thinking that the cities look like motherboards. So I started doing a bit of a search. Now look at this. A motherboard, also called mainboard, main circuit board, system board, base board, planar board, logic board, and MOBO. It's the main printed circuit board, or PCB. Printed circuit board. Looking at this all old world Tartaria, and you think how perfect and amazing it's built, and everyone always says maybe it's digitally printed or 3D printed, putting a bit more truth to this theory. So there's a motherboard there on the right. Here's a real motherboard. Look at it, look just like a city. The buildings in the background blending in. Definitely based off the same sort of looks. Definitely maybe. So it got me intrigued. Here's one being made, printed, put together by a machine. A machine building a machine. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm surprised anyone from this civilization's even smart enough to make this technology. Which I imagine we really inherited. So if you have eyes to see, you will see this. Here's a great compilation of some cities around the world. All exactly the same, built on the same style, motherboard, layout grids. Open your mind to this concept. This is something that we should look further into. Very possibly this realm is just a computer. Is it still functioning though? I thought this was pretty interesting. When I was looking up computer grid, this just came up as part of one of the searches, computer cluster. Now we know there's no such thing as coincidences. Look at that bottom right picture there. It's really got my attention. On the side of it, the logo Sun. Sun Microsystems Solaris Cluster with in-row cooling. That's interesting. What about this? This Japanese designer, Yuri Suzuki, created this wonderful London Underground map on a printed circuit board. As an added bonus, the map is also a radio. It's an exact replica and functioning machine.
Like electronics work on the PCB board. You can mount whatever you want.
Now I know a lot of you guys haven't come around to all the mountains being melted buildings, but you will. You definitely will. Here's a motherboard now getting melted. Just to sort of put the picture into your mind. Sort of change colours and shapes. Liquefying or vitrified is what the mainstream say. Once you have eyes to see, you will see it I mean, you can still see all the lines in the mountains. There's still bricks there. No one made any of these buildings with all these stupid sized blocks. Why would an advanced race build like that? It's utterly stupid. We only believe that because we're utterly stupid. When we keep saying, how did they build it? How did they build it? It makes most sense that it was printed. Printed computer realm. I've got a theory on what I think it all is. I think this is a fantasy factory. It used to be a place of pleasure, but now the parasites have taken over, and it's hell. Absolute hell. Look at all the bricks. Look at the different shapes and colours. Ruins. Because the buildings are ruined. Look at the bottom bit there before it just blends into the ground. Old world, here it is. Some have survived. But look at all this. This is where mountains come from. The earth is flat. The mountains were giant buildings that have melted, creating all the different ups and downs and bumps. All around this plain, we have these crazy, crazy super advanced buildings. Couldn't even imagine to build these. All we are is a civilization of road builders to cover all this up. Everything built with bricks. Bricks, bricks, bricks. There wasn't a mud flood. It was a brick flood. They're not all titans. They're buildings. Don't take my word for it. Google it yourself. Google ruined castles or vitrified castles. Just imagine what this realm really looked like before the great X Factor happened. What happened to this old world? What could have possibly have melted all of these structures? Something shorted out the grid. Was it the moon? Was the moon an old sun? Now it's the lesser light? That could be a possibility. We don't have any technologies that could ever do something like this. Maybe 33G network. I've heard a few people talk about how our bones or bodies could be like batteries. We could be all helping power the grid. Maybe it's up and running again, but we're that brainwashed that we can't use it to have any fantasies because they try to keep us all so depressed. Keep us at such a low vibrancy all the time. They control all the narratives, even half this truth community. Definitely looking forward to reading your comments on this one. As truth seekers and flat earthers, we all know of the firmament. God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." But what if the firmament was the computer case? Alright, now calm down. I know it's not a globe. But the top could be domed. It could look a lot like this with a flat plane inside. Or maybe it's just a simple box like this. A cube. And that's what made me think about this. Is that what this really represents? The Kaaba in Mecca? Does this represent the computer? The great computer? So then I started breaking down everything of our reality. Like wind. Just because it exists doesn't make it natural. Where does it really come from? I mean, really. Just because it exists doesn't mean it's real. It could be man-made, so to say. Machine-made. All these things could be tricks to trick us. But that's not what I think the wind's for. It's a cooling system for this great computer. Maybe these fans are hidden in the clouds. Or just above a projected sky. I mean, who knows? We know they can make clouds. So there's definitely one theory. The winds are a cooling system to this computer. Now here's a fantastic simulation of a city showing how the wind works around it. Showing how the wind could be moving around to cool the grid. But maybe it just wasn't enough. Maybe the grid had expanded too much and extremely overheated and melted. So that got me thinking about the Great Flood. Noah's Flood. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Methuselah. So that got me thinking, were the waters let in to cool the computer down? Or was it an upgrade for the next grid, making it a water-cooled computer? Genesis 1:2, the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was on the faces of the deep. Did you know that deep is also a computer term? Deep learning. The waters above and below the firmament could be AI. Deep learning is a superpower. With it, you can make a computer see, synthesize novel art, translate languages, render medical diagnosis, or build pieces of a car that can drive itself. If that isn't a superpower, I don't know what is. Machine learning yearning. Technical strategy for AI engineers in the era of deep learning. Has this era already been? Artificial intelligence is not new. Artificial intelligence, any technique which enables computers to mimic human behaviour. Machine learning, AI techniques that give computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed to do so. Deep learning, a subset of machine learning which make the computation of multi-layer neural networks feasible. Head straight over and subscribe and hit the notifications bell to When the Buildings Cried, The Tartarian Meltdown, and Spartan Red. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you all. Stay safe in these crazy times, and remember to stock up on plenty of food.